Yo, it's Mel from Rap Rankings. To hear the full episode this clip comes from and all the other episodes, stop by raprankings.com or search Rap Rankings on your favorite podcast platform. And we're back. I'm just going to apologize up top. Our guest had to wait a little while on me. I had to use the bathroom first. Number 2, James Doodoo called. He beckoned. I had to come hither. Hither? I don't know. But yeah, my bad, Cam. That Little Caesars was running a Mike D'Antoni offense in my stomach, and it just things got out of hand. But we're here now. All right.
You needed to get to the bathroom in 7 seconds or less. Like, yeah, yes. I understand.
Yeah. And it just kept coming. Like, there was no slow. The pace. It was. I told Moulz when we started, like, I didn't expect it to take this long, but like there was something going on in this gut of mine. But it's all good now. We're all good now.
Good. Yeah. It was concerning for a minute. Like, I was a little worried. But I know there's already been something done up top, but you know, I've got to do this. I got to do my own intro for this episode.
Oh wow, okay. Hey, take it away.
So, what did the Suns say about the Pelicans' coaching style in the playoffs this year? Oh, that was a big Willie style. There's a Willie Green.
I like that. I got that. Moulz, the coach for the Suns, his name is Monty Williams.
Oh,
I see. Okay.
And the coach for the Pelicans is Willie Green.
Willie Green. Yeah. So he got Big Bro'd, basically.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
I felt so bad, and it's like they might have actually been able to beat the Mavs.
Yeah, like it was, in the battle of the Willies. Like, I mean, the Suns won, but this Willie, he almost won. He almost got over, And right now, there's a lot going on in sports land. Pat Bev is on TV just
ending Chris Paul's life. I have never seen this much hate from one person to another since 50 and Shaw. That man had notebooks of just slander ready to go.
Yeah. It's Moulz, I guess it's equivalent to I'm trying to put this in wrestling terms. It's like he's basically getting on TV and being like, I guess what would be the equivalent?
Wait, Moulz, do you know that Roddy Piper promo in early TNA where he accused Vince Russo of murder?
Russo of killing Owen Hart? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much that.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's that level of slander. It's like no one needed all of this.
Well, look. All the more reason for us to be happy that we're gathered here today to continue covering an album from just the most positive presence in hip hop. This guy, he doesn't have to cuss in his raps to sell records. He's a beacon of inspiration to people all over the world. All right. It's Big Will. It's Will Smith. But all of that can be said for the man here today, our guest, the father, Cam is like.
Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Is Cam is like, I would just say, is Cam is like not one of the most inspirational men on earth. Okay.
I think he's even more inspirational than Will Smith.
Wow. You know what? Why not? Sure.
I will say I aspire to be as protective of my family as Will Smith is.
In what instance?
I assume that
he loves his wife and children so much.
Yeah, he lets Jaden and Willow be themselves and, encourages it.
He just supports Jada and everything. It's just so nice to see.
He's a great husband. What else is there really to say?
He's a great husband. He stood by her, even with the August Alsina stuff. He loves that woman. Loves her so much.
There's a song on here about chasing forever. We've covered it already, but this man, he knows what it takes. All right, he knows what it takes to be a great man, a great husband, a great father. I'm hitting the drop. All right.
Thank you for being such a great husband. Thank you for being such a wonderful father.
Okay. Will Smith. I love the guy. But listen, we're here to cover this record where he has to address these people who don't love him. Okay? Now, that's natural in the world. Not everybody's going to love you, but Will has given us so much with so little controversy. I mean, you could argue no controversy. The man don't be getting... whatever goes on in his private life with his wife, that's whatever. But the man has stayed on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, there's the stuff, with the August Alsina stuff, of course. That's
their business. What is that?
I mean, let's take it further back. What about the two Aunt Vivs? Like, that's colorism. That's a bit of a controversy. No. I mean, what about the Oscars this year? I mean, like...
What about it? He won the Oscar.
Yeah, and then they banned him. Like, they're just trying to keep him down. And
they didn't ban him. No, see, what happened was he won Best Actor, and he won for King Richard, and, the Williams sisters were in attendance. No one got banned.
I didn't hear anything about him getting banned. He won. Look, I just look at it as the culmination of him being a great role model for us all these years. He finally got the Oscar, and I mean...
Do you mean he's banned like he won the Oscar and now they're not going to give him another one at this point? Because it's like, this is kind of the career, like the lifetime achievement sort of thing?
I mean, I definitely think it might be that too. Like,
I've heard nothing of this banning.
There's no reason for him to go back.
Well, look. All I'm saying is...
Oh, what about... Was it because of his participation in Oscar So White?
I mean...
I wouldn't put it past him to ban him for that. I mean, we know the world, the country, the world, it's racist, okay?
I mean, I do have to say, Oscar So White might, to a lot of the more conservative members of that academy, it might have been a slap to the face. It really might have.
Anyway,
I didn't hear about any banning.
Yeah, I ain't hear nothing about that. But if they did, I mean, look, can't be knowing he's the father. So if this happened, this goes out to the academy.
You're racist. That ain't P.
Okay.
Yep.
That ain't P.
Cam listens to some of those politics podcasts, so maybe they heard about this and
it might have been drummed up out of nothing. I might be talking out of turn here.
Well, here's the thing. This record is about the people who talk down on my man Willard. Despite him just keeping...
You know what? I can think of an instance where, like, was it like a journalist or a photographer couldn't keep their hands to himself, so he had to check them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. On that, like, red carpet?
Yeah, give him a little love tap, And
I mean, that was warranted. His personal space was invaded. Like, people can't just be, like, kissing you. What are you...
This man violated Will's personal space. Is that what you're referring to?
There were a couple more examples of stuff, but I think you guys might have
he does a
missed out on
YouTube
it.
channel, so like maybe there was like it was like a prank or something that they saw.
Could have been.
Anyway,
I mean, I just kind of want to hear what Chris Rock has to say about the whole thing. He'll have a good take.
Well, he hosted the Oscars, right?
Yeah, he might know what's going on.
I mean, I can hear him now. This is my take on Will Smith. Okay.
All right.
That's my Mel, Chris Rock impression.
Hey, that's a 7+.
Oh, okay, thank you. 7, I'll take it.
Mel, what would his take be?
I don't know what his take would be. I just know that's how he would set it up.
I think I know what his take would be.
What's that?
Congratulations for being a great husband and father.
Oh, man. The funny thing is, I could actually see him. That sounds like something he'd say. Take Will Smith, for instance. A great husband. A great father. It's... Yeah, sure. Chris Rock, everybody. All right. They're good friends, I'm sure. It's like, look, this is about... That's another man... Wait, is Chris Rock a husband and father?
I mean, he's like recently divorced. Now, right? Yeah, he's recently divorced, but he's always going to be a father.
But what my point is, there are two great men who have, probably had to stick together because, like, they're both been role models to my people, the black people in the world. They don't be hurting nobody, And then people got the nerve, like, they corny, they this, they that. This is why we got records like Track 7, Don't Say Nothing, produced by
If you got
DJ
nothing nice
Jazzy
to
Jeff.
say.
Okay?
DJ
Jazzy
Jeff. The rumors. Because,
and Keith Pelzer. Yeah, address the rumors,
on this track, they're saying, what's going on with you and Jazzy Jeff?
Okay. Oh, we getting there. He was talking to Oprah about it, all right?
Oh, yeah. And apparently, they're still working together. They got this solved. Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff, they're good.
Oh, look, they're good. They've been good. I saw him and Jeff, they never, I read his book. Okay, we'll talk about the book. But, Jeff has always been just kind of like, he ain't trying to be all in the mix. He's a bit of a homebody, he's just minding his business. That's cool, Will, Anyway, this is the review. People, if you're new here, Cam ain't new here. So you just gonna have to deal with the fact that we ain't repeating no rating system, but you can find it on raprankings.com. Okay, in the FAQs. You want to know what these following numbers mean. But Cam, you know the drill. Do you want to give your rating first? Should we go first? How we gonna do this?
Well, first, I'll give my thoughts on the album as a whole. Because, honestly, I loved the album as a kid. It came out when, I believe I was 9. I need to see the exact date again. But it came out when I was either 8 or 9. And I loved Men in Black. I loved the singles. Like, Miami was maybe not my favorite song at the time.
Talk about it.
But it was one of my favorites. But I was kind of a little simp boy. I had a Boyz II Men cassette at the time. So, I was, belting out that End of the Road, not knowing what it meant at all. That's what time I was on at that point. So this was like one of my first big, like, even my mom let me have this CD exposures to rap. Like, my dad kind of, let's just say parental supervision was light at best when it came to media consumption. So I had heard Doggy Style and Chronic at this point, but this was the first one I had in my room that I could play in my little tape player.
Similar to my story, this is actually my first album ever. My dad let me keep the tape. He bought the tape. You'll hear it in part 1, but he bought the tape, and I was out in California visiting him. He's in the Marine Corps for spring break, and he let me take the tape back with me. And that was like my first album, and I had a Sony Walkman. I played it all the time. It was just, Now,
did he let you take it back with you because, you're his son and he wanted to give it to you? Or was he not feeling it? And he was like, "You can have it."
He was feeling it. I'm sure as soon as I left, he bought another copy.
Okay, so
probably
this
bought
was
the CD. He let me keep the tape.
This was a gift. Like, I'm gonna have to replace this now.
Yeah, He let me have it probably because that Just the Two of Us was on there, and I can't wait to talk about that, man. I can't wait to talk about that.
I debated coming on for that, but we don't need me openly weeping on the podcast.
I feel you, man. I do. Okay, it's here we go. Okay, this is Mel and Cam, and we're crying in the whole audience.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
because
it's one of those.
I gotta address something,
and then Moulz coming in like, what the fuck?
You're laughing at us crying. We know about you. Okay.
Mel, has Father Time gone up at all?
Yes, actually. I'm happy to report.
Good.
Yes, it has.
Because
it is.
Yeah, because like the last 2 songs I could say just like tears welled up in my eyes were that, and when I re-listened to Just the Two of Us for the first time in like a decade, when I re-listened to this album, and it was just like, it just hit me. Like, because the difference in those songs, like Just the Two of Us, once I had Walt versus before, it's just a completely different thing for me.
Man, I can only imagine. I mean, I ain't got no kids, but I do understand that fatherhood, it's a
sensitive subject.
Okay. A lot that goes into it. You know, it's meaningful. Same with that motherhood. You know.
Oh yeah.
It's two part halves of the pie.
Hey, speaking of gender equality and representation, the We Cry Together has gone up to a 7- for me.
Oh yes.
I like how divisive it is as a record. I like how many.
Okay. So you like it because you like how it's making everybody lose their minds.
No, I enjoyed the performances. Everything I said about it on the first listen, I still stand by. But my appreciation of its effect on people has increased. I'm like, oh, this is some potent shit. Like they're fucked up by they don't know what they're getting right now. Like this, there's something raw about this. I'm bumping.
They're getting Domestic Violence 2022.
Yeah, so I'm bumping it. It got over. Father Time still a 9.
Yo, I will say, that one. What was it called? I just completely forgot it. Let me go back up. Yeah, We Cry Together got over as a 7- for me on first listen. But the fucked up part about that one is Kendrick heard that beat and is like, oh yeah, this is some gender wars battle of the sexes shit, Al. Let's do it.
Odd choice, right? Because the beat is hard. But I never would have approached that beat that way.
It is a weird beat to do that song on, but it oddly ended up working out for him, I think.
Yes.
That's Rock Marciano accidentally drops an F slur beat, and Kendrick did that to it.
Well, listen. Folks, this is what I need you to understand. I need you to understand that if you don't want to hear about Kendrick or Will Smith or me doing before the show, don't say nothing. All right, it's that simple.
So I will give my rating on this one 8-.
Okay. I love it. I give a 9 to your rating of an 8-.
Wow,
I love it. Have I ever? Did I just do a first? Rating someone's rating?
Inception rating? Yeah, I think that's a first.
We've yet to have a true rab statistician step forward and be like, I'll be the guy to keep track of all that shit.
Right.
I just thought it was unofficially me.
Wow. Yeah, well, 8- for Cam. Moulz, you want to go? Should I go?
I'll go, sure. I give this a flat 7. Ding me, baby.
Oh, don't say nothing, Moulz. Don't say no more. Let me and Cam handle the rest of this review, because I give it a flat 8. Gosh darn it. Okay?
Wow.
Yes.
Well, you gotta like 7, this a lot. What is you doing?
A 7 is well, I'll talk a little bit about why it's just a 7 for me. But
he still likes it, so
I like
I'm good with it.
So I guess I can still say something.
You can. I was just imitating. No, I was just imitating our YouTube commenters and such. You know.
Fuck them.
Oh wow. Okay. Hey. But yeah,
I mean ones you know which ones I'm referring to.
Of course, not all of them, just the ones that have yet to grasp the concept that we like the record. The same, them and us. It's like, so why are you upset that we don't like it as much as you like it if we still both like it?
People just don't get the takeaway system. Like, once it's above a 7, it's a takeaway. You like it.
It's a takeaway. A win's a win,
Yeah.
It's a win.
You win once it's at a 7, and if it's at a 6+, it's like, it's so close, it's just something didn't get over. Like,
right.
I don't know why it's so hard for people to comprehend that. Like, everyone runs into that. It's like, why would you give that a 7? It was awesome, and it's like, I just heard this. I like it.
I like it. It is a song I want to hear again. It is a song that I like on the album. Anyway. Enough about them. Okay.
You're sounding as defensive as Will does on this song.
Yeah.
Well, Will has good reason, okay? He has good reason. We should start up top. He told us, okay, yo, when I released my first single back in like 86, people was like, oh, that's popcorn and, they weak. Then I mess around. I go World Trade on them, banging out the multi-plats. They still got negativity to bring. My thing is, you can't say nothing nice. Don't say nothing. Great advice, okay? And you're right, Moulz. The thing is...
Wait, hold on. Great advice? What do you do on the show when you don't like a song, Mel? You don't say anything? You're just like, well, other friends
you gotta apply that to yourself. Okay, look, the golden rule is still golden, but the Rab rule is superior to the golden rule in this arena. All right?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
We got a technicality. That. We gotta say something because otherwise, there's no show.
And on the show, Mel is like Bobby Heenan. He's a broadcast journalist.
Yeah, I'm a broadcast journalist. Okay, so I mean, look, the fact remains when I'm not on the show, you don't catch me on Twitter being like, "That's some garbage." I never want to hear it. Like, no, that ain't nice, so I don't say it, But on my show, I'm required to do certain things, all right? We have a license to say things, Well,
not according to Will in the song.
Well, it was, Rab didn't exist back in 1997,
I see. So we're giving him a mulligan because he had no knowledge of what was going to be happening.
Exactly. And at this point, yes, he's defensive. He's hurt. But at the same time, this record is like,
Now he's defensive on future projects as well. This is almost the beginning of KG Will.
Well, he's got to be. I'm glad you brought that up because I look at this song, Don't Say Nothing, as like part one or a prequel to like Mr. Nice Guy on Born
Mr. Nice Guy or I Wish I Made That, right?
Yep.
Big Will. Okay. Yeah. I mean, he has, because this is the thing. The more successful you become, the more haters pop out. All right. So he has to keep making these records. He don't want to make these records. He want to stay jiggy and be fun and entertain people, but they keep hating on him. Okay.
That's honestly the reason it just gets the 7 for me. But this song is, in my mind, like, there's 3 records on this album specifically. One of them we've already covered. Y'all Know, Don't Say Nothing, and Big Willie Style. The title track. And those, to me, just in the production itself, not necessarily the songs, are the closest this album gets to
hip hop,
quote unquote boom bap, real hip hop, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, when I found out this was produced by Jazzy Jeff, I never knew that. I was like, oh, makes sense, because this is the most hip hop beat on the album. It's definitely the hardest beat.
Yes,
there's an edge to it.
It's hard in that hard way where like the snare kind of makes your teeth set on edge for a little bit. It's hard in that way. And I would agree with that. Those 3 songs are the most hip hop, and they each come at a very appropriate time each time because it breaks it up or it sets the tone. Because Don't Say Nothing showed up just about on the album where I'm like, okay, I need something to switch it up. And then it just does it. It does it perfectly.
Yeah,
I will say this, though. I'm sorry, Mel.
No, go ahead.
Just one note that I have. I may have mentioned it already in this review, but one problem I have with his rapping on this album is that on the singles, he's looser. And maybe it's because on the singles, he's sampling like disco songs, so they're a little more up-tempo than these other beats, so he's got to rap over them a certain way. But there's something about his flow on, say, Getting Jiggy With It, or on the next song, Miami, that just feels more like dexterous than his flow on something like this or Chasing Forever, which we just covered.
Well, he's a multi-dimensional man, though. I get how it can be jarring because, like, this is an album of huge singles, huge dancey pop singles. But, like, he is a rapper, and, I think
and as a kid, I wasn't listening to this album front to back a lot, because I would hear sometimes a sort of stilted flow, and I'm like, okay, what happened to the way he was rapping? What happened to like the way he was rapping on the songs that I like?
Well, here's the thing, and Cam will get this. He was on his Kyrie Irving. He heard some of these beats, and he said,
I respond in different ways. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. He responds in different ways.
Right, but what I'm saying is there's a certain, like, early 90s LL Cool J style about how he raps on, say, this song, for example, or Chasing Forever, even. And it's like, I don't know, it's like this album's like the tale of two rappers, but it's one guy. Well, where I feel like in one sense, his flow is kind of stuck in the DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince era, and yet at the same token, the hits on this album and a few of the album cuts, I feel like he's rapping at a higher level.
Well, this might be a moment to sort of address the thing. And I mean, look, I am a hip hop purist in the sense that I would never employ a ghostwriter, but we got to be honest here. We got to be fair. A lot of the hubbub around this out is, maybe he had some help, and maybe he had different sources of help, which would explain the different tones and approaches,
Right.
Did
Nas write Getting Jiggy With It?
That's the big name that's always associated with this album. Like, I'm not sure how much Nas had to do with it and which tracks. There are definitely moments in the album where I'm like, that sounds like a Nas flow, Yeah.
But if that's the case, why not get Nas to write all the songs?
Maybe he was, he wasn't available some days.
This sounds like the ghostwriter wasn't available, and we're hearing a stilted flow. We've already heard better flows on the album. That's my issue with the song and a few other tracks on this album.
Which is it? I think that's my defense of it. I like that because it shows Will's still trying to do this. Like, he could have hired ghostwriters for every song, and it's like some of this stuff still goes off as far as bars, but it's like, it's a little more stilted because that's the style he writes in. So, I mean, you can't really change that about him. Like, it's the same thing with LL. It's like, he writes a certain way. You're just not breaking him out of that.
I mean, it's like having heard, Fresh Prince, DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince music. Like, I would never take it. Like, Will can rap. Okay, he was one of emerging or premier emerging art when hip hop was in its sort of infancy. So, like, I know the dude can rap. I know he can write. But you got to think maybe. I wouldn't even say the skills atrophied. He was sort of in arrested development. Because, it's 97. People aren't rapping like
whack,
this.
Especially on this album. And I'm not saying he's whack, but as this as like it being the debut solo album, I feel like there's still some remnants of old Will on here. And those remnants never fully faded away.
No. He always had a couple tracks like this, maybe not content-wise, but like flow-wise on everything. And he got better at points, but I think this is his default flow. Like, this song especially. Like, this is his default, like, if I'm going to write bars, it's going to be this.
Now, I'm comparing flows, too. I'm comparing, like, Jiggy and Miami to this flow, right?
Oh, yeah.
Apart from the comparison, it's good enough to work for me. It doesn't sound stilted to the point where I'm like, this ain't rap, this is like some Fisher-Price shit. It still reads as rap in my brain.
I mean, they're different songs that serve different purposes. Like, I think part of this stiltedness might just be like him being like, oh, I gotta be hard, I gotta be aggressive. So, like, it's a little more...
And that's what I was saying, that caginess and that defensiveness almost, like, is a hindrance in some sense, because to me, at least how I perceived Will Smith at this time, right? 1997, I'm thinking
the coolest man on earth era. Will.
Yeah, like he's like the coolest guy ever. Men in Black. We'll talk more about that when we get to the song and what that song and
until Wild Wild West flops in theaters. he is the biggest star.
Oh, he's bulletproof. He's absolutely
Like-
bulletproof, and you can't tell me shit about him. So
That's right.
You know,
That's right. I like that.
if I didn't skip this song back in the day, which I did, and
But
actually
you took his
said-
advice. You felt kind of you didn't say nothing. You just skipped it.
I was just like, this one's
You
not
know?
for me. I'm skipping it. I've come to appreciate the song, but thinking back to how I sort of viewed him at this time, at like 10 years old, right? When this album came out, when I got this album, and I had the Men in Black soundtrack as well, I wouldn't accept this demeanor from, like, I would reject it. I wouldn't acknowledge that he was acting like this.
How much music of his had you heard, prior to this album at that point?
As a kid,
Yeah.
Parents Just Don't Understand in Summertime, and that was probably it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
that's
think this
probably
is
where I
more
was
in the
at.
vein of like a Summertime than the Parents Just Don't Understand. But like,
Agreed.
I could see how even like those old singles are pretty fun and playful. So I could see how even in 97, maybe never hearing previous albums, you would be like, oh, this is weird. But see, I mean, me personally, and I mean, I first heard the album in 99. It came out in 97, but I was 5-6 years old when I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I knew him as the guy in Bad Boys and Men in Black and Independence
Yes.
Day, and I would see him in Fresh Prince. And, I was just kind of taking it all in at once. So I was like, okay, he can be serious. I've seen him fight aliens. So, like, I'm open to all.
He's
forms
cracking
of
jokes
Will
in
at
Men
this
in
point.
Black.
Yeah, he is. He is. But, he's also,
But
He's
he's
never been
streetwise
fully
cop,
serious.
too.
when the
Other
spaceship
than-
crashed, he was like, he was
Yes,
screaming
but
with the parachute.
I think it's
Ah!
important to
You
note,
know?
though, at this point in time, with the exception of 6 Degrees of Separation, which I had not seen at the tender age of 10 years old, he had never done a serious role in the sense of there's no comedy associated with it. Men in Black.
Shout out to Gay Will.
and-
Shout out to Gay Oscar Bate Will.
Yeah. We got, Men in Black, Independence Day, Bad Boys. He's kicking ass, but he's also making jokes.
Right. But, I think the thing, too, is, I didn't know this at the time, but I'm sure with this being his debut album as a solo act, as Will Smith, megastar, global superstar, he probably took an approach like this because it's like, okay, people, I want to show that, like, I'm still, a
Right.
rapper. So it's like a lot of this flow is like, take your place, allow me to flex. It's kind of supposed to be, yeah, sure, stilted, but also I think he felt like,
Well, stilted
He had
for
to
the
do
era.
this.
Stilted for the era, which is important to note
Well-
because this is 1997, and this is the year that things fully shifted over in terms of,
True.
the last remnants of whatever. I mean, it's not even the golden era in 96, but the last remnants of that classic real boom bap era before the, the jiggy era and the shiny suits. That was 96. By 97, we're off that shit completely. And
true.
Yeah.
what I'm hearing at the time, keep in mind, I knew Summertime, I knew Parents Just Don't Understand, probably knew another joint or two. But when I saw that album, first of all, I bought Men in Black's soundtrack before I bought this album. I had a choice between the two. I picked the soundtrack first. I came back a couple months later for this album because I wanted the other singles that were getting pushed out. I wanted Jiggy and everything else on a CD. But when this CD, I distinctly remember being at the Roosevelt Field Mall, looking at this CD, and I wasn't looking at a debut album. I know it's his solo debut album, but because I knew of the, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince stuff, I almost back then I just figured in 1997 I didn't really understand the DJ's role in hip hop. So I just kind of discredited DJ Jazzy Jeff as a 10-year-old, and I was just like, no, it's Will Smith. Like, this is probably like his 4th or 5th album, I thought, because I knew him as that guy from, the movies and from Fresh Prince who also made music. That was part of the, appeal when he's putting out songs like Men in Black. And that's, like a tie-in with the movie. It's like, why would an actor be rapping and we all accept it? I felt like we all kind of knew that he made music. It was a facet of Will Smith, the brand, the entertainer.
There are two things I want to say, I guess, before sort of pivoting into the content of the song. Like, as far as the whole, this flow being outdated by that point, absolutely true. Stilted, I could see that. But there are two things for me personally that, like, I'm okay with this. Because one, I like sort of stilted Will. Like, I like this flow. I like this tone. Like, it meshes with me. I enjoy it. So there's that. But two, I think another explanation for that could be it passed him by because he was busy acting. It's like you're not really keeping up to date with what's going on in hip hop when you're making Bad Boys and Men in Black and
when he's making his biggest movies, right? Yeah, like coming off the set of Fresh Prince and starting to be the lead role and starting to be in these big movies. We're talking he's probably on set for like Bad Boys in 94, even though it comes out in 95. Independence Day came out in what, 94?
96.
That was
96. Okay, so he's on 95. So so from like 94 to the time this album came out, because he was knee deep in it at this time too.
Oh, he was
There's
on
so
sets
much that's
the whole
happening
time.
in rap. Think about like in rap how much changes between 94 when
I would say a year before Code Red, basically the last album he dropped.
What year was that?
With 93.
93.
With Jazzy Jeff. So you could say he hadn't touched really a pen like that since 93.
93. So in 93, though, we get the Wu-Tang album, Enter the Wu-Tang, and then in 94 we get Illmatic,
Ready to Die.
Ready to Die. Like, shit's starting to pick up. Business is picking up, folks. And rap is advancing to a level that we have yet to hear Will Smith at, because he's the fucking biggest movie star in the world.
And to be fair, I don't think we will ever hear him at. I mean, the albums that follow this one, he never really upgrades or updates the flow. I think he kind of stuck with, it's a weird thing because Will Smith as like a technician, as a rapper, is never going to be like, like Mount Rushmore. I've never thought of him as a technician, but he's always had great presence for me. He's always had a good grasp of how to attack a beat.
Well, I was going to say,
he's
like,
in the pocket.
Even with the stilted flow on here, quote unquote, as I called it, he still manages to inject a lot of showmanship and personality into the verses.
That's kind of what I wanted to say. I don't view it as completely stilted. I think it's sharp. Like, I think it's supposed to be biting almost through gritted teeth flow. And then he shows off some personality at different points.
Yes.
When he's talking about fans and stuff, because I think this song in particular shows kind of a bubbling anger inside of him more than anything, because you can have the motto of don't say nothing, but the only reason you're saying that and flexing on people is because you're mad that they're saying something.
I hate to say this, but like, I think he needs to act on it.
Yeah, but he wants to be the nice guy.
I think, here's the thing, okay? I think I'm speaking for black people right now, so Moulz, just give me a second, because we know.
And you ain't black.
But I think we as a people are thankful that he keeps it together and sets the example for us, because it's an unjust America where it's like one strike and we're out. Because we all know that it's fair to place an entire people's reputation on individuals because, we all represent each other as black people, just like the whites told us, instead of challenging that double standard because, we all know people like Ezra Miller are wilding every weekend. No one says anything at all because they're white. But it's like, look, for what it's worth, I don't think it's fair that he has to shoulder that burden, but he's done a great job. I mean, he don't assault nobody. He ain't never attacked nobody. I don't count the reporter on the red carpet. That was a light little slap. Will has kept it together for all of us, even though it's unfair that he's had to. Okay? Like, this is, he doesn't need to act on it.
This is all I'm saying, Mel. You should at some point find some outlet to act on it in some way because you don't want it coming out in an inopportune time when you would least and last expect it, you know?
Sure. Right, because that would probably make people look at him crazy, because when you've been holding it together that long and you like suddenly act in an irrational manner, it's like, well, where did that come from, you know? Sure.
You want to find an outlet for it. I think, you know, this sounds crazy.
I think it's the movies, bro.
But
the movies. That's where he puts it, the movies.
I think this is going to sound totally crazy, but I think he might be able to transition into the world of simulated athletics.
Are you talking about wrestling?
It's a good way to let the, you know, in an environment that, you know, that's what we do. We express ourselves through physicality. I
think it's probably naturally because, you know, he's an actor, but would be great in the world of sports entertainment on the mic for sure. He seems to be, I don't know if he's in his YouTube series, like Best Shape of My Life. He's kind of, you know, he could be in better shape, but like maybe if he trained, he could have like a year run in the company. I don't know. I'm sure Vince would have him. Well, you know, he's probably one of the last movies Vince ever saw was probably like Independence Day.
So, hey, pal.
Sure.
You see that movie with the aliens?
Yeah, pal. We'd love to have you. You know.
Well,
aliens.
What I'll say before we go deep into the content of the lyrics, that just the tone of this song and the tone of his flow with what he's gone through, if this is anger bubbling, what he's gone through like the last 10 years with his career in Hollywood kind of coming to a standstill until the Oscar. It had to build up because there were a lot of people saying things and they weren't always nice about it. There were a lot of rumors around everything. There were people talking about his wife, talking about his kids. I think it's got to weigh on someone like that. And I mean, I think that's why he might explode, or he definitely did explode, like just that night at the Oscars.
Well, he exploded in tears. An
explosion of joy, and because he won an Oscar.
He couldn't hold back the tears from how big the moment was for him.
Even the speech, he goes into this big crying speech about how he has to be a protector, and that's why he has to do the things he's done. And I mean, that kind of anger bubbles underneath the surface of some of the stuff he's saying on here.
Yeah, you got to wonder what he was referring to. Do the things he's done. That's very like Walter White, you know?
Well, I mean, you know, it's been a long time in Hollywood. He's probably had to rough some people up on backlots or something, you know? You never know. But, I mean, keep in mind, this is 97 and he's already kind of feeling this way. So, yeah, like Cam said, it was kind of, he's thankfully managed to reinvent himself, I think, through social media and then, you know, King Richard, and kind of like, this is like the comeback era. But like, there was a time where like, it was tell the truth, you know, it's movies like that, you know.
7 Pounds, that one he did with his son that was like.
After Earth.
Yeah.
I think.
Suicide Squad. Ugh.
What are we, some kind of Suicide Squad? That was classic. That was a classic moment, all right, in cinema. You gotta love that. But yeah, I mean, he was kind of searching for, you know, a role to kind of get that magic back for a while. And I think he took some time away, and it's like, all right, let me focus on rebuilding the brand of Will Smith instead of like, I guess, trying to scrambling, throwing anything at the wall, just flailing, looking for something, you know. I love that he's managed to bounce back, you know. But it's totally true that this is a record where he's hurt. But let me put because I know I've been goofy so far, like, you know, a homer for Will Smith. It's like the haters hate, but like, let me be serious. The record works for me because it's a hurt man record, and his thoughts, you know, it's like, you know, why am I hurt? I'm killing the game right now, you know. But these people are still talking about he's flexing because he's hurt. And what makes the record work is the flexes are valid. I love this for him, okay? Because think about it. He is like the most poppin' man on the planet at 97. This record wouldn't work for me as much if he was just throwing stuff out there, you know, the standard rap braggadociousness that, like, you know,
can't always really be backed up. It's just expected of you as a hyper confident rapper. But
Exactly.
I mean, bro, Grammy winner, soon to be Oscar nominee, you know, like this is all happening. I'm on the chilled on silk sofas chatting with Oprah, you know?
Yeah.
Took a break from the rap thing, went on hiatus. I picked up the art of acting and multiplied papers. This is all true. Like, this is a flex because it's true.
Or,
all right?
While y'all kids busy playing Drug Pimp and Playa, I was at my crib in Barbados chilling with Jada.
Okay. Like, you got to step back and go, okay. I mean, this man kind of talking. It ain't cap. None of this is cap.
But I mean, what I'm saying about the anger also shows up in verse 2, like, no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Yes.
My whole life I've been smiling when I felt like wildin'. Like,
pause right there, Cam, because that is a key insight into the heart of this record and the heart of the man known as Will Smith. Just a brief interruption. Like I said, I read the book. I read Will, you know. So hearing this record now in 2022, like, it was always a great album cut to me, like just the flexing and all. But now I look at this record as like, this is more personal than I ever like thought it was, because that whole book he's talking about, you know, growing up in like, you know, household where, you know, his dad was abusive and feeling like he felt like he was a coward by not protecting his mom, and like, you know, just always trying to be the entertainer to keep tensions down and just wanting to make everybody happy and smile and at the expense of his own personal comfort. And so when I hear a line like this now, my whole life I've been smiling when I felt like wilding, I'm like, oh, he was serious. Like, yeah, he definitely wrote this one. He definitely wrote this song, you know?
Well, and even the delivery later on, find a magazine and I read the hottest gossip. Man, who'd have thought my life would be such an interesting topic? Like, the way he delivers the question, like, there's legit, like, I don't want my life to be this interesting to people. I'm like, it is, but he doesn't want this.
It's an interesting sort of tug and pull, because it's like, I hate to keep bringing it up, but having read his book, he wanted the success. He wanted to be as big as he possibly could. But what comes with that, you know, and it's the tale as old as time, this whole celebrity thing, is you open up your life to any and everyone to make a comment, to have something to say.
Well, and you
kind of can't have one without the other, unfortunately.
You lose yourself when you're that big too. I think like on his later albums, you kind of see that too, because he's tiptoeing a line where I don't think he thinks he can show himself as much on like Millennium and the ones that came after the turn of the century, because it's like he just has to keep up this
brand
image
for sure. Like, yeah. I mean, good point. Absolutely.
And it's like,
you know,
he's so calculated. And I mean, this is like one of, like, there are a few tracks like this on later albums, but this is like, you can see how his brain is working, how his gears are spinning. And he doesn't let people in on that, at least until like the book, because like, did he go into why he picked the movies he did in the book?
Slightly.
Okay, because the way I've always heard it described, and I think I read like an interview with his agent at one point, is he literally picks scripts that have
I know what you're talking about. Okay,
in
actually,
it.
yes, there's a specific chunk in the book where he first like sets out on this like world-beating tour of like gigantic blockbuster movies. He like studied the highest grossing films of all time. And it's like, okay, it has this element, in this element, in this element. We're gonna go make those movies. We're gonna seek out those scripts. And to his credit, like, it worked. It did.
Which is why when it started backfiring, I think he surrendered so quick, because it's like, I don't know what to do now. Because he thinks so much about what he's doing. He puts so much thought into all this stuff. That's what I've always thought about him. Like, when he writes a rap, he writes it whole hog. He's in it to win it. If he's getting it ghost written, he is going to give the performance of a lifetime. Shout out to Miami. But it's just like, it's all just in to become this big guy, and then he gets there and it just collapses in on itself because it's not what he thought it would be.
You know, I'll say this because you made a good point. It's like you lose yourself in celebrity. I think this is right before, or at least, you know, this is before that moment happened, because there's a line in here, you know, where he says, it's Will from Westfield, just slightly transformed. He's saying, I ain't changed, y'all did. Like, I'm still, but I'm sure as the years, progress, like, he gets bigger and bigger and bigger, which makes him, cagier and cagier, more withdrawn, less willing to show, no pun intended, less willing to show the real Will, know? So at this point, he's looking around like, yo, like I did this for the culture. I did this for us. I did this for West Philly. Like, I'm still me. Like, why y'all talking crazy? Like, I'm not hip hop no more. Like, I'm not certified no more. Like, I'm trying to put on for all of us. I'm going this hard to change the game. It's like, but I'm sure, he was already on top of the world here, but it's like, you keep going. He gets bigger and bigger and bigger. He's Will Smith, The Fresh Prince thing kind of fades away. It's just, you're just Will Smith now. Like, everybody knows you.
And like, even though the box office successes kind of, they don't slow down completely, but like, they're not as back to back to back. The brand keeps building because up until maybe Ali, it's like, he's just becoming more and more of the golden boy. Like,
right.
I think it's until probably 7 pounds is just when there's kind of a backlash to why do you keep doing these things? Like,
I mean, I Am Legend was a big hit. He was still on top of the world then. It was around, I think, people even like The Pursuit of Happiness. You could argue it's, I
got my problems with that movie, but people did like it.
And valid, I'm sure. Like, it's not an amazing movie, but I enjoyed it. That was kind of his first attempt. Like, let me kind of test the waters.
Terrible movie.
Terrible movie.
Politically lost.
You politically lost?
There's so much I could say. All I'll say is
it's bootstrappy.
There's like a wipe, like the film technique, like a wipe. There's a wipe of this like yuppie dad and his son in a convertible driving by. It is the most overwrought. No, Crash is worse, but it was around the same time. Awful film, and
Crash might be the worst film that actually got called good in my lifetime.
Yeah,
God.
It's very possibly in the running as like worst Oscar bait prestige film of all time.
I had to watch that in a high school sociology class. I had to watch that in a high school sociology class.
Oh, I was just about to say, Cam, they made us watch Crash in AP Psychology.
I'm very glad that it came out the year after I graduated.
Oh God,
man!
They took us to see Hotel Rwanda, which was a good movie.
Well, we did a law class in high school, and they made us watch A Time to Kill for 3 days too, so that was also fun. God, public high school was a joke at times.
Look, public high school
is a joke at all times.
Let me tell you something.
You really look at it.
You want to know about an acclaimed film that I hate because of public school? That All the President's Men. Hate it.
I never
really?
I absolutely can't stand that film, and they showed it to us 2 years in a row. I told the teacher, we saw this already. We saw it. And they're like, why? It's Watergate. It's the when they found it, I'm like, oh, this is a Bondulu school and a Bondulu school district taught by Bondulu teachers, and everything is wrong with and the hairstyle. I hated it.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel about Apollo 13.
Okay, Apollo 13, we rented. I watched it in my parents' bed until I got bored, and then I went in my room and went to sleep.
It was like the substitute teacher movie for like 4 years in our district. Like, anytime you saw that video cart roll in with a sub in for the day, you were either watching Apollo 13 or Tucker, A Man in His Dream.
What the fuck?
Who?
Wait. No, I believe that's a Francis Ford Coppola movie. Like, it's him and
it's Tucko?
Yeah.
I'm still gonna hit it.
Who?
Yeah.
Because it's a Jeff Bridges movie.
Oh.
Jeff Bridges. Okay.
See, they had us watch Bearskin once. That was the best thing they ever showed us. I wish they'd show that to us every year.
Oh, see, we saw Gattaca once. That was a good day.
I think really Crash was a low light, but we got to see. I saw was it One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for the first time.
Jesus Christ.
They showed us what is it? The one where Al Pacino goes hooah, you know?
Wait, Son of a Woman?
Yeah,
in school? What class was this?
AP Psychology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They showed us something else.
You know what? These fucking AP Psychology teachers are playing fast and loose with the movies the same way
Shout
I play
out to Mr. Huggins,
fast and loose with the archival audio. Did someone ever rap on this beat? Who sampled it? Who also flipped the sample? I mean, what are we doing, folks?
That same teacher, if he's still teaching, is probably showing Gone Girl in that class now.
Look, Mr. Huggins, what did he tell? Shout out to him. Okay?
Is it safe to say he's a hugger?
Maybe not, because one time a teacher came in and like grabbed him on the shoulders and he was like, ugh, and like tensed up. That was a highlight for us. That was great. Because us nerds, we were the same way. We didn't like to be touched. So we were like, one of us, you know, but there was a fun moment in AP Psychology where we were some unit, we were learning something. It was like, you know, something like about hopelessness. And like, he came to the back of the room and I was like, I was reading like the little lesson back to him and he was like, well, yeah, I guess you're hopeless. And that was great. That was a great moment for me. He was great. But anyway.
Another buried memory has resurfaced.
Buried memory?
My 8th grade earth science teacher, because I'm pretty sure it was the year the song was out, was asking in reference to Ride With Me by Nelly. She said, what's smokin' L mean?
Oh, God. Did you explain?
She asked the class in general, and I don't think anybody answered correctly.
I'm trying not to go off on a tangent, but you talking about that. I've told this story already in the very first episode, but that episode's terrible because we didn't know what we were doing. But look, Lizzie, wherever you are, and I mumbled in the back of the room, and I was like, this is Chameleon Air, Riding Dirty. It was still, it just come out. It was on the radio.
Oh, God.
And I had mumbled something to myself, because I was at the yo-yo-yo school where the white people were acting black and being racially insensitive. And I was like, I don't even know what Riding Dirty means. And like, she overheard me, and she's like, I know what it means. But I didn't know how to talk to girls. So I just kind of like looked at her. And just like, and never, like, I didn't mean to no-sell her. she was pretty to me. I had a crush on her, and I was like, I didn't know what to do, so I just didn't say anything. Shout out to Lizzie for knowing what Riding Dirty meant.
God.
Anyway.
And what's Lizzie in rap speak?
Lizzo! Shout out to Lizzo. I hope nobody ate your food up, but, you know.
No, shout out to Lizzo.
On him, Guru.
Shout out to Lizzo.
No, the Lizzo is the girl from your school. Lizzer is who you're referring to.
Oh, right, because I got it. Okay, so yeah, Lizzer. Yeah, Lizzer.
Selena, Lizzer.
If I was a little more suave and sexually active in high school, I would have been sipping on some Lizzer. Okay.
Dear God.
Anyway. Yeah, I want to touch on something that Cam brought up, because I think this is important. You know, we've talked a lot about this being sort of gritted teeth, stilted, like I got something to prove thing. But yeah, the personality isn't completely sacrificed. There are moments like Cam, you mentioned, like where he's describing fans. You know, he's like, everywhere I turn a dead end, 100 women coming at me waving pads and pens, and they be screaming out, "Oh my Lord, did you see it's that brother from ID4?" You know, like there are little moments like that. I
Huge pop at that line.
Oh, you gotta pop at that. I popped at this reminded me of like Fresh Prince, like the sort of joy I could sense in his voice and delivering it. And I was like, at this point, so I'm like, no, this man going crazy. He's snapping, he's floating. 50-inch Sony to watch Siskel and Ebert, because I'm about to get 2 thumbs up, 10 toes, 1 knee, and probably a couple elbows. Like, oh, talk to him, Will. You know, like he was getting his flexes off. And, you know, I love the sort of conversationally tone he takes before like the hook of just whispering, "Don't say nothing." Like, I guess it's sort of like a bridge, but he like switches it up each time. It's very conversational and very important. So important, I might even say, when he does the whole like, you know, daggone, you know, y'all know how it is. Oh wait, hold up, y'all don't. look here, if y'all don't say nothing, and the next time around, well, y'all know how it is. Wait, hold up, y'all don't. And the third time, y'all know what it is. Ah, damn, that's right, y'all don't. Like, that's very charismatic. Like, he's kind of playing it loose. Yeah. And I love that line specifically as I got older and found out how dumb humanity is. They really don't know. You want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but people are stupid, all right? You got to spoon feed them. They don't know, okay? People are dumb. So I love that part of the song probably more than I should. Yeah, I mean, bro, it's a hurt man who luckily has a lot of success, you know, to kind of bury that hurt. But at the same time, you know, you get lines like, you know, he's soft, he whack, man, that ain't real rap. You believe that? Hurt me at first, but it's cool. Took the insults, feed it to my ego, used it for fuel. True. I'm sure that propelled him to the heights that he reached, but listen, not to bring it back to AP psychology or sociology or anything, but that eats at a person. You keep burying things like that.
Yep.
Yes. You know, and not actually addressing the root cause of that. Like, success isn't always
you know who tapped into this better on their debut album? And material leading up to it?
Who's that?
Kanye West. I think he managed to do what Will didn't in this same arena as it pertains to, you know, it's like that sort of, you know, again, cult of personality rap. Also, I'm not the expected standard and norm of what a superstar rapper, what you'd imagine, because I'm somewhat backpack adjacent also, but they say I'm not backpack enough because I got the polos and the Louis, you know, I'm getting kind of like early, you know, the Dream Killers record by Kanye, which was a pre-college dropout song. I think it's also known as Gossip Files.
Let me guess. Did he recycle? Because we know he's a.
I mean, he's the king of
infamous recycler. Did
this
he use
guy?
The line, you know,
this guy has a negative carbon footprint. Okay, with the amount of recycling he's done.
He's like, arrogance has steam to power my dreams. I'm sure he probably put that in the song.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, that's where those bars originated. The Dream Killers record.
Dream Killers makes sense.
I'd send it to you, but I don't want to send the Zencaster off on a weird trip like last time.
Well, Kim, to that point, though,
Kim, I wrote 96 bars. I'm going to use them on 200 songs.
Oh, man.
He's still doing it, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
If you listen to these insane, like, halfway finished studio leaks that come out from
every little crumb that leaks out of that operation, you're gonna hear bars get, you know,
on different songs
shuffled around. It's gonna happen. I'm sure, those however many bars that Kim shared that he wrote on the plane, he's probably still using some of those. But I mean, to your point, Moulz, I think it's clear at this point in 97, Will has moved on to, I guess, greener pastures. You know, he's coming back because he still likes rapping, still likes making music. But I think that whole use it for fuel, I mean, he used it for fuel to just be globally big. Like, not
she
just
says he wrote 90 bars on the plane.
Yeah, 90 bars. And he spread those 90 bars across what was that, 2016?
I think it was, no more parties in LA. He wrote 90
spread those bars across 8 years.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. How long was this plane flight, and how long was it taking you to write 90 bars? Like, for real? Like, you had probably 4 hours uninterrupted, and you came up with 90. That's what, that's 2.5 songs?
That's why I'm trying to get Vice to do Dark Side of the Booth so we can find out about the plane ride from hell.
Oh, brother.
Hey, Push, I need your help with these bars.
Oh, my God. I'm sure Sci-Hi was, like, slumped in the back. You know,
I'm 60 bars in, fam.
Put the Biscoffs down and help me write these bars. I'm Pablo. You know, like, it was probably... We know about him.
I'm locking up the drink cards until we get 30 more bars.
I can see him like trying to lock down the plane, like telling the fighters in this, yo, y'all stay back there. Don't come out until these bars are written. Nobody gets no snacks. You know?
Nobody gets the chicken or the steak.
Yeah, no, he was holding everybody else. No in-flight meals, no in-flight entertainment. You know, just airdropping everybody the freaking instrumental and making them all right, and just
getting in people's faces, yelling at them, telling them they don't have a classic.
Oh my God. Yeah. Anyway, I think Kanye definitely, you know, I mean, even Kanye though, we get the sense that like rap wasn't big enough for him, so he branches out into fashion and everything else. But it's like, yeah, Will, you know, fed, you know, you got the fuel or whatever to become, you know, one of the just biggest overall superstars on the planet. Well, but yeah, that's just, you know, skating around the issue. That's just dressing it up. You know, you still got to address it one day, you know, but luckily I think Will has done a good job of, even in you know, the down periods of his career, he still kept it together. No outbursts, nothing like that. I mean, he's just, this guy is, I just, look, y'all know I love Will. All right, I'm Will Homer, but like, something should be said for the fact that this man has been controversy free, you know, for like all this time. I mean, I'll say another person who, you know, I not my favorite player. I got my issues with him, but for what it's worth, LeBron has stayed out of trouble.
LeBron is a very well insulated individual, although he did put his foot in his mouth recently in regards to the China situation, China and Taiwan.
That's global politics. You don't need to get into it. You're inevitably going to like run afoul of someone somewhere.
Yeah. Well, on that stuff, it's like, just don't speak. You probably would have been better off.
Don't say nothing. Okay?
Yeah.
There it is.
Well, and especially with LeBron, who's always so measured and like controlled, him doing that was just...
That's how Cena got caught up too.
Oh, yeah, didn't he have to like walk it back?
What did Cena say? Did he like recognize Taiwan was a country or something? I forget.
Yeah, and immediately it was a major issue.
Oh yeah,
he had to walk it back.
Well, because shit like that would have gotten like Fast 9 kicked out of China. Like,
yeah, when you're operating for the global audience, you know, you've become
ignore anything. A puppet. Ignore anything east of, like, I don't know, Germany. Just do not comment on anything about anywhere east of Germany.
Yeah, but then just don't comment, you know? And
yeah.
Will's done a good job in terms of insulating himself. The majority of, you know, we have the August Alsina thing, and that's a private situation that came to light.
Totally private. And that's not a controversy on his part, really. Their personal relationship is not
it's not our business, quite frankly. It's not no one's business.
It doesn't hurt anyone but them. Like, you know,
just you know, and these people deserve privacy and all that. So I don't.
I mean, to be fair, even if he did snap one day, it's like, if it doesn't hurt us, then my view is like, a controversy is something like that actually has an effect on our life. Like, okay, you look up to somebody and you find out they did something, but like, a controversy, I guess.
Well, if he snaps,
there's no harm to us.
If he pulls a Chris Benoit, there's a certain harm to us. We feel betrayed as fans, you know?
Oh, well, there's a harm to, yeah. I mean, well, just our fandom aside, though, I mean, like, that's murder. That's, you know, that's a controversy.
You know, I don't think he's capable of snapping to that degree, but maybe, you know, one of these days he's going to have to two-piece someone for talking all that shit, you know?
Or in the
people talk a lot of shit about Will.
Right. And if like he ends up like, you know, wowing on somebody, it's just like, well, I mean, hey, I mean, there are probably healthier ways to deal with that. I mean, it's kind of his fault, I guess, you know, for keeping it, you know, simmering for this long instead of addressing it. But like, it doesn't, what's the harm to us? You know, like let that man, let that man wow out, whatever. I mean.
Well, and I have to say in conclusion on all of that, with anything involving this man or his family, if you feel like making a joke or making a post about that, follow the advice of the song. Don't say nothing. Because that man is holding on to a lot. You don't know what's going to happen.
You know what? I feel like if he does snap, that would be the inciting incident, right? Like someone comes at his family some kind of way. Because he's dealt with criticism his whole career and has remained pretty neutral as a public figure. He's not an aggressive person. So,
that man is smacked between a rock and a hard place right now. And he's just carrying a lot. But he won his Oscar. It's so uplifting that he did that. But he's just between that rock and a hard place right now.
Won?
Yeah, since he won. But I mean, he's still going through stuff with his family. I mean,
we don't know that. We don't want to speculate on that kind of stuff. We don't know.
It's the thing. Look, I get people that are like, well, what do you want us to do? They keep making us like, privy to their business. It's like, I get that. But at the end of the day, I don't know them. Just because they overshare doesn't mean I have to respond to it. Like, I don't see how that equation works. Like, the same thing with Kim and Kanye. It's like, yeah, I know it's very public and dramatic and messy, but it's like, I don't know them. I don't want to comment on that. Like, I don't, why would I comment on that?
And I will say, the stuff between Kim and Kanye is way more toxic than anything we've seen with Will. I don't think we'll see anything that controversial. Like, him threatening to kill Jada. Like, well, no, he threatened to kill Pete, Kanye threatened to kill Pete, not Kim. So I guess that's not the same. If Will Smith threatens to kill August Alsina, it would be something like that.
He didn't even do that.
He just had emotions and feelings like anyone would.
Yeah, all I'm saying is I think he needs an outlet for it so it doesn't happen in an inopportune time. That's all.
He'll figure it out. He's a successful, he's seen a lot of things. I'm sure he'll figure it out. So where to properly address these conflicts in his soul, But I think ultimately, like, we need to stop, to zoom out a bit, we need to stop trying to like slap the downfall, like the narrative on people before it's really truly upon us. It's like, I get when he had the downturn in his career, it's like, oh, Will fell off. But it's like, look, he talks about in this song, and I love this. It's like, come on, keep it real, kid. Don't try to act like there's some mad degree. You won't be bumping the big Willie in your Jeep. I know y'all still feel me. Really, don't act silly. Very important words, because people try to force the downfall all the time. Like, you may not have done nothing, but they just get sick of you. So
we're seeing it with Jack Harlow at this very moment. I mean, they're forcing and forcing instead of just like, if he's gonna have a downfall, let it happen. Don't
let it happen.
Don't like push the carriage along. Just let it. If it's meant to roll off the cliff,
the fall off. And
if it's meant to roll off the cliff, let it roll off the cliff. But don't push it down the cliff.
Well, you know what it is, though? It's that build and destroy mentality. They build you up, they tear you down. I've never been about the tear down. I just don't understand that. Like,
I've never been about the build up either, to be honest with you. Because
brother.
I mean, they build them up there, and then I call them orphans because it's like, DaBaby, you must care about this guy. He's great. I'm like, no, he's not. He sucks.
They talk your ear off. They hype him and gas him, and then once they get there, they turn on him, and it's like, oh, wait, no, come back here. You put this guy in the game. You're responsible.
Right. Yeah, now you're responsible for this guy. Like, and they're like, oh, don't give a shit about him anymore. Too bad. And I have to like bring him into the orphanage, and it's like, all right, take a seat. Like, find a bed. I'm seeing it with Meg Thee Stallion. I'm seeing it with Jack Harlow. It's just like the bloodlust is insane. You guys don't want anyone to be successful.
It's dumb. Yeah. Speaking of Jack, though, there's a line on here, and now I'm gonna let the Homer jump out for a second. He says they thought I was whack because, Homer, right? Okay, I get it. Thought I was whack because I wanted to act. Now every brother and his mother that rap, he's trying to do that. Bro, you could argue Will paved the way for Jack Harlow's gonna be in that White Man Can't Jump. Drake, 50 Cent. Bino,
but the crazy thing about not all of those people are equal in terms of
of course
their
not,
stature.
But I mean, they've all dabbled on the
Oh yeah, but that's what Will is saying on the song is like everyone thinks they're going to be me now, But look at remember like Chance the Rapper was in a slasher movie, and in Vic Mensa was in Chirac. Joey Badass or something was in one of these movies. I mean, they didn't go on to do anything.
Yeah.
And it's like they're putting Jack in the White Man Can't Jump remake, right? That doesn't mean that a career is signed and sealed. I'll tell you this.
No, not at all.
Right.
Even Drake being the biggest rapper in the music industry. And even with him
I don't
being
know that
on
he could
Degrassi,
go back.
I don't think a film career is guaranteed for him either. I think he needs to show and prove.
It's not.
Well,
it's not.
And we all, like, people try to kind of pretend, oh, he's been an actor before. Have you ever watched Degrassi? Like, it's not good acting.
I've seen a lot of it. I mean, it's
kids acting, so
yeah.
But it's like, it's a soap. Like,
it's a soap opera.
Like,
teen drama.
If you think Drake's going to be able to do some, like, serious dramatic role based on doing that, like, I don't think you're wrong, but, like, what is your proof? There's no proof
my whole
there.
attitude has been he's going to need to, like, take acting lessons and, like, if he really wants to get back in the game, because, like, if all he has are his skills from Degrassi, you know, it's for what it's worth, though, whenever he pops up and, like, does these little skits, like, on, you know, at the, what is it, like, the sports awards, and, like, he'll be at, like, you know, ESPYs or it's, like, SNL. He does have the feel for it. I think Drake still has, like, that sort of, like, you know, comedic timing and, like, you know, he knows how to work the camera a bit. But I would never call him, like, a future A-list actor, you know, in, like, a critical sense.
Well,
like,
and also the skill set for doing, like, skits like that is very similar to being able to freestyle a little bit, too. Because you need to
improv,
just...
like...
But, like,
you know.
For serious acting, you're exactly right. He's going to have to go do acting lessons because I don't believe him half the time when he raps sometimes. So, like, I'm not going to believe him writing... I'm not going to believe him reading lines someone else wrote.
Look, him and everybody else on that show were all serviceable, you know, as the show worked. I mean, they were believable enough to make the drama,
right?
You know,
but is it guaranteed that if he leaves music and becomes a film actor, that all of a sudden he's going to be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Fuck no.
No.
Well, I mean, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson took years to kind of, like, get that.
Yes.
You know, where now he's bankable. Like, you could put a movie on his back.
Yeah, but he came from pro wrestling, though. It's a little bit different,
which helps.
I will say, once The Rock actually focused on it pretty much full time, you could tell it was just in him. Like, the scripts weren't always there, but, like, the rundown is like 20 times better than it ever should have been because of him.
You ever seen that Walking Tall, Cam?
Buford Pusser? Yes, I have seen it.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I've talked with Moulz about Walking Tall. It was like, it wasn't an amazing, but I'm like, it's my boy. It's The Rock. He's on the screen.
That was at the time where I was seeing everything he was starring in just to support.
Right.
I saw the Tooth Fairy and got busted by the cops in the parking lot trying to smoke some weed before the movie.
That's a terrible trade-off. I don't think that's worth getting busted by the cops.
Wait, what was the one where he was a football player? The Game Plan?
Yeah.
That was what I was thinking of when Moulz said the Tooth Fairy.
Well, no, the Tooth Fairy, he's like a sports agent or he owns a sports team or something. He's like he's in charge of like
the TV show.
That is also the plot of Ballers. Yes.
Yeah, Ballers. Huh.
Wait, Ballers, aka Sports Entourage.
Yeah, basically, right. Okay, this is the Tooth Fairy. I forgot about this movie. Jesus Christ.
Yep. Saw theaters. Almost didn't. Almost spent the night in jail, but luckily they couldn't find shit.
And was it Escape from or Return to Witch Mountain? Like, that was the one that's like, why does that exist?
I think Return to Witch Mountain, because Escape was the one from like the 70s, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You know, side note, I'm looking at this like box art for the Tooth Fairy. It's all you always know a movie. I mean, you can probably just tell just from the premise that it's not going to be an amazing film. But when the pull quote is always like just something that like a great family comedy, and it's like from some local TV station, like you know that it's not like a real critique from somewhere that actually matters. Because it's just like, I'm sure you could find someone to say, oh, that was great. You know, like we had fun, you know, no diss to like middle America, but it's like, I'm sure somebody taught and was like, it was the best time in the world. But, you know, it is what it is. Will, All right, I agree that nobody should say anything. Okay, if they're gonna say mean stuff, all right, don't say it. Will has given us a lot. He had to flex on y'all and list the accomplishments. You know, his accomplishments spray at his comp like mace. Okay, he had to spray it in your face, put pause, and now you know what the deal is. I like this record. I liked it always.
I'm a big fan of the beat on this record.
Knowing that.
Yeah, the beat and like re-listening to this album is what opened this one up for me, honestly.
Agreed. I saw Cam, this, like I said, this used to be a skipper. Now it's just a flat 7.
It's always like this. The little jingle and the ding, 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 and the beat. I love Big Willie style. Okay, it was my first album, you know, and I think folks, please do remember, like, this is enjoyment. So if you think, oh well, Mel's compromised, he's a big Will mark, he's a Will Smith stan. Well, yeah, but I'm telling you, I enjoy
feel that
it,
way
and
last
I'm giving
week
you the reasons why.
When I was giving takeaways to every single song on Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yeah, you know, it's like we're letting you know coming in what our biases are. Like, yeah, I enjoy it, but I'm still telling you why. It's not just, oh, I enjoy it because it's Will Smith.
And
no,
our biases,
this, and this, and this.
Our biases
I'll be back in 1 second.
Oh, no problem, Kim. Our biases are always being counteracted by the other person who may not have that same bias.
Exactly. You know, so it's like, unless you got a moment like the Rock Marciano review where Moulz Mel were both shaboing-boinging, you know? I mean, but that says something too. It's like, hey, if we both think this thing is outstanding, then you might want to take a listen. Both Moulz and Mel agree on this. But, you know, I'm a big Will Smith mark. I like a lot of the stuff that people dismiss from him. You know, it's like, look, my dad had me dressed up as a cowboy to go see Wild Wild West. Was it a great film?
Yes.
Probably, if I watched it again, probably wouldn't be. But at the time, I had a great time.
No, it was a great film. Fuck what you heard. It was a great film.
What, Wild Wild West?
Yeah, it was a spectacle. The sets were crazy. The fucking steampunk kind of Wild West steampunk sort of look the film had. It was stylistic.
It had a look. It had an identity.
They don't fucking make movies like that anymore because
they don't.
People who hate on movies like that spoke too much. They didn't say nothing. They said too much.
They said everything, and now we don't get Wild Wild West no more. Now Mel can't dress up as a cowboy and go see the film, and we don't get songs like, listen, another good like movie tie-in record. I don't know about you, Moulz, but Wild Wild West, off the top of my head,
8+.
Probably an 8+, maybe 9-.
8+.
Okay.
Come on. I'm back and caught the end of that. I would 100% agree with that.
Wild West.
Jim West, Desperado, Rough Rider. No, you don't want none of.
No, you don't.
None of this. 6 go to this.
I was about to say,
brother, running this Buffalo Soldier, dude. Just like I told you. Any damsel that's in distress, get out of that dress when she meet Jim West.
When she meet Jim West.
Woo woo!
Come on, bro.
God.
We got Cisco in there doing a money hook. We're going straight to the Wild Wild West. Bro, don't talk to me about Will, all right? Y'all just, I get it, you know? Like, compared to, like, Young Thug and Future and Gunna and Drake and everybody else, he looks antiquated. He looks like a goofball, but we need goofball.
At the time, it was like,
compared to some fun time.
Compared to Biggie and Pac and Jay and Wu-Tang and, you know, all that, but guess what?
There's a time and a place for that too.
We just can't be on that time all the time. We can be on that time a lot, but not all the time.
You know?
No, sometimes you need diversity. You need pop records.
Man. To paraphrase Sugar Free, sometimes you just want to have fun in a real way, and this is how you do it.
Ooh, I love it. Okay, this is good, clean fun in a real way. Okay, and that's really the takeaway from the review. If you want to on the box art of the Rab review and just put that pull quote from Mel, sure, run with that, because that's how I feel about this album. All right,
it's so much fun. The album as a whole, so much fun.
Tell him, Cam. It's just a fun time.
It was just when I put it on, because like usually I listen to my own personal listening taste. Tends a bit darker and like sadder, But when I put that on, it was just
Same.
so joyful, so like it's so much fun.
It's one of the few albums, as someone who, I'm emo Mel, but I'm sure it has a lot to do with, it being tied to a great time in my life when I was 5 or 6 and hearing this album for the first time. I was yet to be like a wretched little soul. I still had hope and faith in my body, but I'll turn this album on every couple of years and be like, yo, this is crazy. Like, this is like, I hate being alive, but yet this album, I'm happy that I'm alive to hear this album. Like, it's one of those things for me. It's a feel good experience every time. So
yeah, like that's how it was for me when I turned it on. It's like for that, like about hour that I had it on, this is just happy. This is nice.
Yes. I cried when I listened to Getting Jiggy with it earlier.
Because bro, I love that for you.
I cried the way that Mel cries when he sees John Cena
come out, and I just lose it. Like, because of what that represents, like a good wholesome hero. We don't get those anymore. That company's dying, wrestling's dead. But he's like the last defense. Like, he was one of the last.
Listening to Getting Jiggy with it,
Roman's carrying the torch, but
I just couldn't help but harken back to like 97 to 2000, like pre 9/11, and I'm just like, man, we had it good in that specific window, and we'll never have it as good in this window ever again. No kind of window will ever compare to this window. And I guess it's cool we lived through it, but on the other hand, it's like, man, can we get like a dope time in society again?
No, never again. Look, to quote what I always misheard in The Rain by Missy Elliott, that 97 to 2000, it's my window, okay? It's my window, and I love it, and this is when the life was good, okay, for me. Maybe it was, we know about the world. Like, this could have been somebody's worst period in their life, and I respect that, and I'm sorry for them. I'm just speaking,
in 97, I have some bad memories, but mostly not. Mostly when I'm just thinking about the vibes, they were mostly good. But there was, I'd say there was one shitty thing that happened in 97 for me that I can't give the year a perfect mark. 2000 is the apex of society. Okay,
we all know what happened. That 9/11 hit, and just. We still shook up to this.
Maybe
day.
99 was the apex. It's hard to say. 99 or 2000 were just, they hit so different from both locations. Okay.
I mean, that period of time, it's post the publication of Francis Fukuyama's The End of History. Like, this was supposed to be peak society, and then 9/11 happens. And it throws everything into a tailspin. Now, I'm not going to go in depth on how I feel about Fukuyama because a lot of his premises were kind of bullshit to begin with, but there's something to that. Like, especially like first world societies were kind of in this, technology was expanding but hadn't taken over everything. Like, there was still innocence in the world, like a little bit at least, because the internet hadn't shown everything to be as ugly,
right? It was almost like
as it is.
It was the point where like the technology was at its most peak before bad shit started happening with it, and at also the time where there was still a level of like naivete.
Yeah, it was still real to you.
That's right. That's fucking right. For the 99 and the 2000. I think that's also why when Juvenile, is on the back the ass up talking about the 99 and the 2000, it's like, yeah, those were good years. Like, keep saying those years. Don't mention these current years,
Peak civilization taking over for the 99 and the 2000. Okay?
Juvie got the time machine.
Here's a question, Cam. I'll pose it to you and Mel, actually. Okay, so a lot of people, when they analyze the career of Will Smith, both as a musician and as a box office draw, they always point to Millennium and Wild Wild West as these moments where it's like, all right, this is the beginning of the downturn. But is it possible that really, like most things, it was just 9/11 and the cultural shift that happened after 9/11.
It's probably, you could argue it's definitely tied to the shift in culture and society, but I got his filmography pulled up. I would say he was not.
He wasn't anywhere close on
the fall
film wise.
Didn't officially start until 2008.
Right. Like you could say Wild West was his first flop. You could say,
but then he bounced back with Ali.
Right, exactly.
Well,
and that's really the
Men in
beginning.
Black 2, Bad Boys 2, iRobot, Hitch, Pursuit of Happiness, I Am Legend. That's Will Smith canon also, at this point.
There's something you're not mentioning though.
What's that?
Those films weren't as, like, for instance, Men in Black 2 was not as well reviewed as its predecessor.
No, it ain't touching one. But 3, oddly, is better than 2. You know?
I agree. Shaw's in it, and Shaw is still coming.
Shaw is coming. Hashtag Shaw is coming. Okay.
He's an extra in the 70s gimmick.
I love it.
What I'm going to say about the Wild Wild West millennium, like, that's the start of the downfall thing, is no, that was a dip. Like, and eventually with the run he had from 95 to right before Wild Wild West, you have to have a dip. You can't keep going at that pace. You can't keep...
Right.
I mean, it's why capitalism always fails. You can't keep increasing profits. Eventually, the line has to go down.
Look at Netflix. They're falling off.
But then you look at an album like in 2005, you look at Lost and Found, and if Lost and Found came out in 99, maybe it would have received a different reaction, you know, but at the time, you look around, or when was it, 2005 or 2004, Mel, Lost and Found? It was very out of step.
I think it's 2005.
5.
Okay, it's very out of step with the big albums from that year.
For sure.
Because the biggest rap album of that year, to me at least, was The Motivation 101.
Yeah,
like,
you get
completely
TM 101
out of step
that
with
year.
that.
Kanye drops Late Registration, and he produces the majority of B for Common.
And Most Known Unknown.
Yes, 3-6 Mafia, Beanie Siegel, The Becoming, Lil Wayne, The Carter 2.
I love that album. I love that album.
You know, and you just listen to this Lost and Found. That's at the moment where it's like, this sounds totally antiquated. 97?
But at that point, it's kind of like who's checking for Will as a recording artist, you know? And I say this, I own that album. I think it's got joints. Switch is slept on. Okay? Yeah, it's cheesy. But it's still fun.
He stole that song from someone else.
Who?
Man. I'll just send it through. And you can do do you have Switch on your computer to do an A/B right now?
I do, but I don't. We should save that for Lost and Found. I don't want to discover nothing about Will right now that might, color my opinion of him. All right, right now he's controversy free. I don't need any controversy.
Also, just the way major labels ran at that point in time, everyone has a stolen track story at some point from like 2003 to 2006. Like that was just.
You listen to albums from the year after, like you listen to albums from 2004 and you hear, I'm not necessarily blaming Will for this. It's most likely whoever did the production on that song.
Yeah.
But you have producers in 2005 literally replicating samples or drum patterns from stuff from 2004. I notice, like, you know, when you're in iTunes and you can sort by year, and I'm going through the hip hop genre, and then I go from 2004 into 2005, and I'm like, oh, that's, for instance, Sinner Man by Nina Simone, flipped for Talib Kweli, Get By Kanye West, and then all of a sudden gets flipped like 3 other times in 2004, I think 2006, and then more recently.
I mean, that period of time for production was basically, if you weren't stealing someone else's samples, everyone was using one of the same 3 keyboards. So, like, you were using all of the same sounds.
The sample gold rush, I would say, ended in like 2009.
Mm-hmm.
When it came to producers going through what I would say are mostly soul, R&B, and funk records. You know, of course, there's a lot of genres that just don't get sampled as much. But when you're talking about like just 60s, 70s, and 80s soul records and whatnot, the lion's share had been ran through at that point.
Yeah, there's only so many records you can sample and flip from that period of time. Like, how many times are you gonna flip "Who Am I" by the OJs? Like, how many times did I hear that sample flipped?
But you know, with the music from that time period compared to now, for example, they didn't have like, number one, albums a lot of the time, and number two, just look at the amount of releases. It's much less than what it is now. So eventually the well actually does dry up. There is a finite amount of it.
Yeah, because to record an album back then, you needed all your musicians, you needed the studio time to record it, and you needed all your singers on point for when you did actually record. Like, it was months-long processes to get those soul albums, and it's like, you run through the 9 tracks digging for samples in like an hour and a half.
Look, all I can say is, actually I can't say that. I've never outright stolen like anything, but I've definitely, I should get a pass because I was young, but I've recycled some things. I've recycled some things, you know, but if pressed about it, I would have definitely said such, you know, because I always cite my sources. But, you know, to come back to the center of this, look, music, it's all been played, all the notes, you know, what are we talking about? It's just...
There's only notes, 12 of them.
There's only 12 of them, right? You can arrange them a bunch of different ways. And it's in words. You want to talk about lyrics? All the words have been said. We don't even make up no new words no more. Okay? Jamie Foxx's character was trying to on this album. Blow up, shaded, superbolistic. But they didn't catch on for whatever reason. We need the Shakespeares to come. When are we going to get new words?
Eminem is trying to make new words every day of his life. He's really trying.
Maybe he's going so hard, like, and exhausting the dictionary because he's trying to break through to, like, that new dictionary. He's using every word he can to, like, try to crack, like, burst through that threshold in the land of new words.
He's on the razor's edge trying to get that multiverse dictionary. He's just trying to reach it.
You should make some new words, man.
Why don't you make some words that sound like the Crow, man?
Oh, God.
Nice bars.
Nice language.
Can't wait to kick out of them.
I can't wait to kick out of it and make my own words.
Oh, man.
I don't have a problem with your language.
What are you, bro?
Okay.
Mark?
Lax fan, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall tribute. Listen to it. This is the 10th time I'm asking.
Yeah.
We're not asking anymore. We're telling you. Dedicate 20 hours of your life to this episode.
Yes, in addition to not missing any rab as well. Dedicate 20 additional hours if you're a fan of wrestling and if you feel anything. Raw thoughts.
Oh, man. Yeah, raw thoughts. Well, Will shared his raw thoughts with us. His thoughts of, you know, pain and hurt.
Yeah.
and how he navigates those. So, folks.
Yeah, he did. He really did.
Nothing. All right.
I'm silent on the issue. I like the song. I like the beat. He manages to spice up some of the stilted flow on here, like I said, with some good comedy and showmanship and whatnot. But I in my childhood skipped this song. As an adult, I enjoy it, even if Will's defensiveness and caginess seems, I won't say unearned, but unnecessary.
You gotta read Will, man. Okay. You read that autobiography and you know what he was thinking at the time.
You should write a will, man, in case you die, man.
Oh my god!
Oh man. Okay. Yeah. On that note, I think
Cam,
we did our job.
Any plug skis? Any shout outs?
Actually, shout out to the Bud. Shout out to Walt. He took 5 consecutive steps today.
Wow.
Oh shit! Listen, Mr. Cam is in the Big Stepper, huh?
I was.
Also, we haven't really got, or actually, I think I got it on video. I may post it. He now says night night when he's about to go to bed.
Oh, that's great.
And
I thought it was going to be something crazy, like he's rapping Auntie Diaries or something.
Oh no!
Oh man,
he's never even heard that word.
Auntie or Diaries?
No, the words in that song.
Word. Oh, yeah, okay.
But and he's starting to form more syllables now, so it's getting kind of funny. And we're both very worried. Like, what if he drops an F-bomb as one of his first words?
Well, hey, if he listens to this Will Smith review, I'm gonna try to keep it clean for Will.
Exactly.
So
I don't know if I've already failed at that, but
no,
it's all right. That's just.
What? Listen, I fail every day. It's an ongoing battle.
I don't know if I've ever heard it. It's crazy. I don't know if I've ever heard him curse.
Who?
Who, me?
Cam?
No, Will.
Oh, Will?
Yeah.
I heard you saw my blinker, bitch. You ain't never.
That's not a curse. Censorship Mel thinks that's a curse. It's not a damn curse.
Oh, brother. All right, don't do the freaking don't do the 5th grade defense. It means female dog. Okay, it's when you use it in a certain context, it's a curse word. Okay, you say you might get slapped by somebody.
Mel censored the word ass one time, and I said it. Or no, Mel said it, but he censored himself.
I told you I never censored you. Okay,
he censored himself from saying ass.
It was a part of the gimmick. We've been through this.
That's too much of a gimmick if you're censoring that word.
Hey.
Too gimmicky.
Hey. I'm telling you what Will told you. If you don't like the gimmick,
hey, that's what I told you. Mel, I told you. I told you that you can't censor that word. They let it. You let say it on NBC.
See, I was supposed to keep it clean for the Bud. Now you got me. It's all bad now. All right.
Oh man.
All right.
Cam, thanks for joining us as always.
As always, it's always a great time. Always a great time.
This would be your 4th in a row. 4 seasons in a row. Look at this.
Whew. Yeah. I hope to make it 5. Once I see that. Yeah, once I see that next schedule, I'll need to pick one out. Or did I already pick one out? I can't even remember at this point.
I think you picked it out, but I can't say it on the air because it would be too much of a tell for what the next season's theme is going to be.
Yeah. If I remember that right, yeah, it'd be too much of a tell. We gotta keep them in suspense a little bit.
They're wondering.
Tease the matches as they come, not way before.
Right now we're in season 9. It's just getting started. You guys don't know everything that's coming this season. So,
thank you guys for having me, though.
Thank you for coming, and we're gonna keep chugging along here on this big style that we're uncovering from Will.
That's right. So stay tuned, folks. Cam, thanks for stopping by, as always.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night.
Peace.
Yo, it's Mel from Rap Rankings. To hear the full episode this clip comes from and all the other episodes, stop by raprankings.com or search Rap Rankings on your favorite podcast platform.